recreation is not the only way to enjoy life. You know, hedonism is not the only way to enjoy life. You know, I think if you can change your perspective and start to enjoy pushing yourself, really seeing what you can accomplish. The average person has so much potential that they just leave on the table.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the episode of Travis Makes Friends. Today, I am in the home studio with the one, the only Brandon Carter at King Keto over on Instagram. What's up, dude? Welcome
What's
to the
going
show.
on, man? I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, dude, anytime people come through Vegas, man, I love to take some time. Yeah. You're here for mutual friend Ryan Pineda's event.
Yeah, I'm speaking at WealthCon. I'm on one of the panels on social media.
There you go.
I guess he needed like experts.
Yeah.
So who else is going to call?
You've been known to talk expertly about social media before. I think, once or twice. Let's peel back the layers, bro. Let's go back in time here and talk about Brandon Carter before he was King Keto. Let's go back 12, 13 years old. What were you up to? Set the scene for us.
12,
What's
13.
going on in your life? Yeah.
You know what, man? I grew up in the south side of Chicago. You know, that area that its reputation precedes itself, right? So it's pretty rough. And you know, we were struggling.
What did your parents do?
My mom was one of the people you would call to book a flight on the airline. See, the kids don't know anything about that. They only know going on the internet. Yeah. But you used to have to call, you know, in the 80s. You'd have, you know, nobody had a internet or a home computer, right? So you had to call. And that's when my mom, she was one of the people who answered the phone. And my dad, he had his own business. He had an insurance claims company, right? So we were all together, but I didn't see my dad too much, even though I lived with him, because he was working so hard. Like, he was just struggling, you know what I'm saying? And
trying to put food on the table.
Yeah, man, trying to work it out. You know, one of my very first memories as a child is my mom waking me up. She was waking me up at like 5. Right? We walked to preschool because she didn't have a car, and we got robbed at gunpoint, and he put the gun in my face. I'm a 5-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's like one of my very first memories growing up.
That's not going to leave your brain anytime soon. That's wild.
And that's kind of environment, you know, the south side of Chicago is. They're robbing toddlers at the break of dawn, you know. Wow. And
that's such an early time too. That's wild. Yeah. They must not have.
Crackheads are up early,
I was going to say. Yeah.
Crackheads.
Or they're up late from the night before.
Crackheads don't get it. Sleep is a suggestion to crackheads. And crackheads, man, hardworking people, man.
The grind never stops.
It never stops, man. So so we were struggling. You know,
siblings.
I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters. One of my brothers I never met before. Okay. Because we got different dads, but I guess we got different moms. I'm sorry. We got different moms. My dad had a bunch of kids. Okay. But when he married my mom, he stayed with her until he died. You know? Anyway, I didn't grow up with any of them because they all lived with their other moms.
Gotcha. Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
You had siblings, but you were kind of like
I was the only one whose parents
for all
was
intents
together.
And purposes.
I was the only child. You know what I'm saying? But he was struggling, trying to figure it out how to make it work. And by the time I got to the age you were talking about, I got sent away to military school. In Wisconsin. It was a military school in Wisconsin. I had to live there. And you know, I got in a little bit of trouble. You know, I was like a bad kid. You know, I got, you know, I mean, nothing crazy, just skipping class, fights, shootouts, you know, normal kid stuff.
Well, it's a product of your environment, right?
Yeah. And then, so I get sent away. But here's the thing. That's when his business started taking off. Right. So
interesting.
He started making money when I was gone. I don't know if the message is like, get ready to get kids. Maybe that's the
Step one.
Maybe that's
military school.
Listen, success leaves clues. But that's what I just think, you know, after you do anything consistently for 10, 15 years, you're going to start seeing results. And that's when it started working. By the time I was done with high school, he was making $3 million a year.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Adjusted for inflation, that, you know, I got out in 2000, adjusted for inflation. That's $8 million a year.
Wow.
Yeah. But I didn't experience any of it because I was gone. Right. Then I went.
So you were there, you were at military school for
the whole
5
time.
years, 6 years?
About 4 years, all of high school.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. How was that experience?
It was awful. I hated it.
That
so
sounds
much.
not fun. Yeah.
In fact, I might have went into the military had I not had that experience.
Interesting.
You know, I talked to some, like I've talked to military guys and even guys who worked at the school. They were all in the military, and they were like, "Yeah, this is worse than the military because you guys have less freedom,
right,
than us. Like
That's
we can
wild.
go do shit and like see women, and like
there's not really school dances at military school.
No, not all boys military school.
Yeah.
They were like, they said it was worse.
Yeah.
So I took their word for it, but I didn't experience any of the wealth because I went to college right after Howard University School of Business, and by the time I was done with college, he lost all the money.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he lost all the money, and then.
Do you think it was like losing all the money just because of irresponsibility, or because of
because
he's trying to continue investing in the business? Or
here's something I learned, because I've seen this happen before with other people. You know, if you lack discipline, well, you know, if you do it for the money, when you get the money, you might take your foot off the gas, and sometimes people start indulging in the fruits of their labor.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Oh, now I can chill. Now I can enjoy myself, or what people call enjoying themselves. You know, and you know, if you're not like a super disciplined person before you get the money, and if that's not important to you, when you get it, you have more opportunities to ruin your life because now you have leverage.
Yeah.
Right now you can put yourself into debt. Now you can get more things. Right, like the stuff I say no to now is like, I don't think most guys can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sure. At this level. And my dad couldn't say no to it, because by the time you have money for the first time, a lot of money, then it's like a lot of temptation.
Sure.
A lot of opportunities to indulge in vices. And I think he fell victim to a lot of that, because he was a street dude from Chicago. He just had his GED. Yeah. He was like in gangs. He was a goddamn gang leader growing up, you know, and he just figured out something that worked, but he was still a street dude, and he didn't have real education. Like he didn't have like, and not to say you need to go to college or you need that pedigree, but he was super street smart and super smart, right? Yeah. It's just some pieces missing to make him super successful, you know. And
interesting.
Yeah.
How'd that affect you watching him go from struggling, no money at all, and then seeing he made a ton of money and thinking probably at the time like, wow, my dad made it. He killed it. Yeah. And then watching it all go away, that had to have some sort of well,
it all went away. Then he killed himself in 2007.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. He committed suicide in 2007. So I saw like the rise and then end of demise.
Yeah. Right.
But there was a lot of lessons there. Like I think the first lesson was, if you work hard for 10, 15 years, you're going to be successful. Yeah. Right. And his work,
no matter your background, no matter your education,
it doesn't even matter.
Right.
You can be from the hood, black. He was an orphan. You know, he didn't even know his parents. Yeah. Like he was a legitimate orphan. Yeah. Right. Gang banger, you know, like and he made it, like really made it. And it just let me know that, it's just hard work. You know, his work ethic was definitely something that I picked up, and my mom's work ethic. Because remember at the beginning, I told you she was waking me up at 5 to go to work. She would walk me to school and get on the bus and go to work. So to seeing the work ethic from them two, that really, I picked that up via osmosis, you know. Yeah. And you know, I think what the best thing about my parents, I had great parents, you know. That's one thing I would say I was really lucky, because I hear a lot of people, they have all these doubts and they don't believe in themselves. Well, I never had that. If anything, me, it was overconfidence. Like that's been my biggest thing. Because when you see your dad come from nothing and then make that much money, when he tells you can do everything you want, you believe him.
Sure, yeah.
But these other guys, motherfucking janitors and bus drivers, telling their kids they can be whatever they want. Kids like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Isn't that interesting? You know what I'm saying? Like where you would think objectively from a third party perspective, if you were going to like choose which family to be a part of, you would think that this one over here, that like the middle class family with the picket fence, would be the one that would instill more confidence in you. Yeah. But to your point, it actually, from what I've seen, like it instills more mediocrity in people, because you have a little bit of something and you don't want to let go. You don't want to lose the little bit of something that you have. Yeah. Whereas like people that come from nothing and like they're forced to rely on the only thing that they have, which is their belief in themselves and their ability to pull themselves out of it. Yeah. So, and then when you see somebody actually do that in front of you, who is your parent, that's highly impactful and directly affects your confidence or your belief in yourself to be able to do something in the same way. I was having this conversation with Ed Milet on the podcast a few months back about parenting and things like that. And that was one of the things that we were talking about. And he said something that really stuck with me. And he said, the most, I'm probably going to butcher this, but the most insidious form of child neglect is a parent who gives up on their dreams. And
that's hard. Like, I believe that.
Yeah. And it's a slap in the face, I think, if you're a parent, because you tend to think like, oh, it's just about spending time with my kids and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, really though, if you want your child to be able, capable, confident, and willing to do something extraordinary, then they have to see that version of you do it. Or they're not going to, like, you can tell them all day long. You can preach it to them all day long. But if you go to your job at Walgreens and come home and hate your life, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to fully believe it. Yeah. Because they don't have any evidence that it actually is true. They're going to look at it and be like, interesting perspective that you bring up.
Or they'll believe you when they think you're a punk. Oh, that's all you wanted? Wait a minute. You can have whatever you want, and this is all you wanted?
Right.
Oh, my dad's a fucking punk.
Yeah, right, exactly. I can have, like you're telling me I can have whatever I want. Yeah. Well, why don't you have whatever you want?
Yeah, what's up? What gives, bro?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So either they're going to believe it and think you're a punk, or more than likely they're not going to believe it.
Yeah, and they'll settle for the mediocre life as well.
But it's like, I don't know, man, because of what I saw my dad do. I saw that working hard over a long period of time works.
Sure.
You know, we would probably, as far as like first world circumstances are concerned, like there's some guy in Syria who has it way worse, right? Sure. You know, like Kuwait or some shit, right? But as far as first world America circumstances, I don't know if it gets much worse than rough, Southside Chicago orphan, you know, growing up in foster in an orphanage.
In 2020 that happened. You know, your dad was, this is the 1950s, 1960s, being a black man in Chicago.
Civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like
pretty bad scenario, but he pulled himself out of it. Yeah.
So to know that, me seeing that, I still feel like I'm a punk in comparison to him. Like, I feel like I haven't accomplished enough.
Yeah.
You know, but then there's the downside. Like when this guy you idolize blows his fucking brains out, right? Then it's like, oh, wait a minute. I was 24. Oof. Yeah. So it was, I was fortunate that I was an adult, because I met people whose father committed suicide when they were like kids, you know, like, and so that's pretty tough. But fortunately I was an adult, but that fucks with you too, right? Oh, the guy who you believed in, who's like all your self-concept is based off of, goes out like that. It's like, oh, wait a minute, what's true?
Yeah.
You know, what's true? That fucked with me for a little bit, but I didn't really have time to contemplate it, because I was like kind of thrust in a position where I was like the man of the family now. And I had to like take care of my mom, my sister, my grandma, my sister's kids. I had to take care of everyone, right? So I was like, all right, fuck it.
And so 24.
24.
Yeah, you're right out of college.
Yeah, I've been out of college for a little while at this point. And, you know, I was probably, you know, that same month, like not the same month, but that same time within like 3 months, like one of my friends got sent away to prison doing life sentence.
Wow.
He killed 2 people, right? So that's what happens.
Yeah,
you can't go around killing people, and then can't do it. This may be a controversial stance, right? I may get a lot of heat from this, but you know, I'm willing to say it. Hey, don't kill people.
Yeah.
I know it takes a lot of bravery for me to take that stance, but
I'm not gonna push back on.
I gotta say what's right. You know, so he's in prison, man. My boy SV, like childhood friend. Then one of my other friends, Esco, he got murdered, and I was just like, oh, I need to change up some things that I'm doing too, right? Because you become like people around. So, you know, I said, all right, what am I really good at? Personal training, and I've been doing that for basically since I was 17, training people. Even in college, I had jobs as a personal trainer.
So I always liked athletics, fitness.
I always just loved it, man.
Weights.
Yeah. Since I was 16, right? So, but personal training wasn't making the kind of money I needed at the time, you know, and it was during the recession too. You got to remember, this is 07.
Yeah.
And the 08 was when the recession really hit.
Yep.
You know, so, well, I started waking up at 4, training people in the morning. I was taking train from Queens. I was in Queens, so I was trained from Queens to Harlem, train people at the New York Sports Club on 45th and Broadway. Take the train downtown to Soho, where I was the security guard at the Prada store, and I worked there for like 8 hours. And then I would work for my boy's moving company after that, right? And then that was 5 days a week. And on the weekends, I would train people, wake up early, train people in the morning. And then I managed my buddy's restaurant in Queens, basically for another like 10 hours, right? So these are 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, because
not a lot of time for vices and nonsense when you're putting in 14-hour work days.
Nah, because I just figured, you know, it was crunch time, man. I didn't have time to sit around mourning.
Yeah.
You know, I had to help my family out. You know, I feel like my back was against the wall, and it was a recession. But here's the thing, man. During a recession, right, mind you, I have a college degree, right? So, but you may be too young to even remember 08 like that, right? But because I'm 40, but it was bad. There was like people with master's degrees working at Starbucks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, fuck it, I can do labor.
Right.
You know, I ain't too good for that, you know? And that's what I did. And those 2 years, I made over $100,000 both years.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. All you gotta do is work 14 hours a day.
3 jobs plus a couple side gigs.
All you gotta do. It's simple. easy peasy. And then, but I was like, fuck, I gotta figure something out. You know, and then I remember this pretty vividly. You know, I was reading 4-Hour Workweek because we were driving, we were in a moving job, and you know, we just packed up a house.
Yeah.
And I'm in the truck, passenger seat while we're going to the next location to drop this person's shit off. And I'm reading 4-Hour Workweek, and I had the idea like, what if I did this shit online, training? And nobody was doing online training at the time. It was
pretty new. I
mean, the
internet was still pretty new, really, you know?
Bro, it was MySpace.
Yeah, right.
Instagram didn't exist, you know, and YouTube was in its infancy.
Direct response online was really, really young at that
point.
All
that shit was new. All that shit was very new. So I don't want to say I invented online training, but I was in that first class of people who were pioneering it.
Sure.
You know? So I was like, all right, well, maybe I can do this, you know? And then Tim Ferriss, he recommended in the book. I'm not telling people to go read that book. A lot of strategies are pretty antiquated at this point. But he suggested using Google ads, and Google ads still work. We run them now, but they were cheaper then, you know, in 08, fucking 08. And so it was like a viable option to test stuff, you know. But at the same time, right after that, I read Crush It by Gary Vee. I had this conversation with Gary before. I'll tell him that it was impactful. So I said, wait a minute, what if I merge these two strategies through this social media thing and use Tim's business strategies, but instead of creating a product, I just do it with a service, right? You know, online training. That's what I'm good at. And it started to work. Yeah. It started to work. I started making YouTube videos. I bought a $50 camera off of eBay. It was like called the Cisco. It was made by Cisco. It was called the Flip Cam.
Nice.
And it was like $50. It was like the first HD camera to fit in your pocket. Yeah. Because the iPhone had just came out or was about to come out.
I think it was like 07.
And it wasn't even HD.
Right.
You know, so that wasn't like a thing doing it with your phone at the time. But it was a camera. It was like, might have been half the size, half the thickness of this cup, but it fit in your pocket, right?
Right.
And I started making YouTube videos with that.
Nice.
And shit started to work over time, you know, and then I started getting online clients. I had to figure that out, how to train people online so they get good results. And I came up with different systems over the years.
Yep.
And I was able to quit one job and quit another job.
I was gonna ask you. So how long in between the time you started doing online training and then you went full time and just went ham with it?
Okay, so probably like it was years, bro, because I was quitting one job at a time.
Yeah.
So first thing I quit was the moving company, right? Because that was like a full body workout every day.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I was, especially in New York, it's super hard. Because
it's all apartments and stairs and
not every building has elevators, right. So you bring shit up like 6-story walk-ups, you know, sofa
Moving
beds
is
and
one
shit.
Of the worst things in the world to me, bro. I still have people hit me up, you know, because like when you're younger, you just gotta go help friends move. It's just a thing. You know what I mean? Everybody just goes and helps, and at the end of the day, you get like a box of pizza. Yeah. And at the time, it was like, yeah, but I get free pizza. You know what I mean? As like an adult, like a grown ass man, people ask me to help them move, and I'm like, I'll pay a mover to help you move.
I'd rather pay for someone. I'd rather pay someone for my friends.
But I can afford my own pizza at this point. So I'm not going to take 7 hours of my day lugging your couch, like smashing my fingers on the door jamb. You know what I mean? Like,
if one of my friends asked me to move, I would publicly shame him for not hiring movers. I'm like, yo, man, step your fucking game up. You sitting around poor? What's the matter with you, man? Go out here and support the economy. You give people jobs,
especially
man.
if you have a truck.
Selfish.
If you own a truck,
I had a Ford Explorer in college.
Oh yeah, you're
so
fucked,
I helped
bro.
so many people move. They hit me with. I had the Ford Explorer Sport, the 2-door. That was my first car. The 2-door stick shift. Ford Explorer.
You got plenty of room in the back for shit.
They don't make a lot of those 2-door stick shift SUVs.
Oh man. Okay, so you quit the moving company. And then I was a few months later I was able to I got fired from the Prada store. It was a good decision on their part though. Okay.
Because I was a security guard, but I didn't guard anything and I didn't keep anyone secure.
You just stood there with a walkie-talkie.
I was just there. I was a deterrent. Like somebody like ran out with some shit once, and I was like, I really thought to myself, I don't have insurance. And that purse is insured.
No kidding, bro. Like, you can take the $70, or I guess it was Prada, so it's probably a lot more than that. But
fucking Prada bag,
$4,000 bag,
$4,000 or $5,000. You know, like this fucking little book bag. This little one is fucking $2,000.
Yeah. But, I mean, either way, $4,000, $5,000, not worth me.
I'm not fighting
risking my life.
This motherfucker over this shit. And then they gave me a suit, right? They tailored a suit to me. And I was like, I'm gonna fuck up my suit too. It's my only suit. What I'm gonna do if I gotta go to court or a wedding? That's all I got. Fuck this shit. So and then they ended up firing me at one point, and it was a good decision.
Yeah, one of those points where you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
That
Fair
makes
enough.
A lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do it sooner. Yeah. I'm surprised you guys didn't do it sooner, man. Like, I'm not good at this.
Well, thank you for the checks.
Yeah, thanks, man. I was more of I saw myself as a deterrent.
Yeah, that probably worked.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways. You know, people don't want to fuck with you if they see that somebody might actually do something about it.
Yeah, it's like the club. Remember, people used to put the club on their car. Mm-hmm. Like I know people who steal cars, who stole cars back in the day, long time ago. Yeah, you don't know. Nobody needs to go look into that. A long time ago. You know,
but another controversial opinion here.
But they laughed. They used to laugh at the clubs, like, this motherfucker got a club on. He think he fucking go keep this shit safe. But it was a little bit more work.
Sure. Yeah.
So they would be deterred.
To me, it's like having a dog, right? Like I got a dog and she's annoying sometimes. She's also awesome, but she's like an 80, 90 pound German Shepherd. That's how I view it. It's like, if you're going to come like rob me, it's going to be because you have beef with me. Not because like you're just some petty thief. Because if you're a petty thief and you like come to my door and you hear my dog with this like ferocious bark, you're just less likely to give this house a shot.
It's
you're
easier
just going to move next door. You know what I mean? It's a deterrent. Yeah.
It's a deterrent. So that's where I was. So I was able to quit. I got fired from that job, and I still trained people
in person.
Yeah, and I kept a weekend job for a long time.
Okay,
and I was just all the other time I would work on the business. And I kept that until I had my criteria for quitting. I know some people say, just quit everything. It's fucking retarded,
it's
man.
Not practical.
It's stupid.
Well, it's like, it just depends on the situation, right? Yeah. Like if you're a 23-year-old kid and you live with your parents and whatever, like you don't really have to do any of that stuff. You know what I mean? But like if you're where you were, bro, you're supporting 7 people. It's like you can't just be like, no, I'm committed.
Yeah, people are dependent on you, man. It's totally irresponsible to just burn your boats like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got mouths to feed, people dependent on you. Like, Mom, I'm sorry, I don't have it this month. I burnt the boats.
Yeah, right.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
No food this month because I'm committed.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid, man.
Okay, so I want to go to where you became.
What I did do, I'm sorry, we can go right back then. But what I did do was I waited until I was making enough money, more money than I was working from my online business. Okay. And I needed to have 6 months of expenses saved. Because I feel like if 6 months, if things hit the fan, I got 6 months to figure things out.
Yep.
And the irony is that gave me more confidence.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Like I said, like as long as you don't let it be the buffer that keeps you not working.
Yeah.
Because some people look at that and they go like, oh, 6 months, I'm good. I'm comfortable. You know what I mean? So as long as you don't have that mentality, like you should have these things in order if you are the provider for a bunch of other people, for sure.
You got to remember, all I know is poverty at this point. Like, even though my dad made it, I didn't experience it. Sure. Like, I wasn't there. The only thing I got out of that is he paid for my college, which was a blessing, right? Sure. That's the only, but I didn't experience any benefits of it. So all I know is poverty at this point. Yep. So like, I never felt comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah.
So at what point do you, you're full time online? At what point do you become like the transformation to like King Keto? Like at what point are you making this part of your brand?
I worked on my fitness business for years. So I built it up to just online training. I built it up to 7-figure business. Okay. And then I started a supplement line, Bro Laboratories. We and that was close to 7 figures per year. And
all this organic is traffic, or were you buying
mostly organic? But then I had another mentor named Matt Gallant, who can show me how to use Facebook ads, and that shit started working really well. Then I had another mentor who taught me even more about Facebook ads. Dude named Kevin Hodo. He used to run the ads for Gym Launch back in its infancy, and Kevin was like, those two guys are like godfathers to me. Kevin died COVID.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, man. Wow. He was a little overweight,
That's wild.
So, but those two guys really helped me hone my skills. So I felt like I was really good at Facebook ads and Google ads. I was adequate. But it was organic traffic was a huge part of it, because I really I started with social media.
Yeah, you seem to be like, from what I know about you, from what I see about you online, you seem to be like really dialed in on who you are as a brand. Yeah, in terms of like you repel the people you don't want and you attract the people you do want. Yeah, and you do it in a very like clear, concise, organic way. Yeah, that obviously fills your businesses with leads and customers and people who already know, like, and trust you.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are kind of scared to be themselves online, or they're super worried about their appearance and they want to get the best cameras. And I never had that, and I don't know how to teach people to not care. Yeah. Because that part of my brain doesn't really work. Yeah. It's not that I don't want, I'm not like Tupac, like, I don't give a fuck what people think. No, it's more like I forget that other people have opinions on things. Sure.
Well, and you don't have enough time to think about it, right? Like if you're really focused on doing the things that you do, and you believe, like that's the big thing to me, is like if you have the belief in whatever it is that you're doing, then it shouldn't matter what everybody else is thinking, and you don't have enough time to even consider what they're thinking, because you're so focused on the things that you believe and getting those things that you believe out to other people so that they can also use those tools and change their lives the same way that those things helped you change yours.
Yeah. And I kind of, I used to, when I was in college, I used to rap. I was in like some rap groups, and I opened up for fucking T.I., Ludacris, nice. Fabulous, LL Cool J, like everybody who was big in the early 2000s, even Kanye West before he came out with his first album, when he was like super unknown, and we used to go to rap battles too, like all around the up and down the East Coast. Every rap battle we would go to. So when it comes to just talking in the camera, I trained that out of me, because I had to like do freestyle. Right. I had to rap about you on beat.
That is expert communication skill. There, for sure.
Make everyone laugh on beat, and it has to rhyme. Right. But so just talking in front of a camera doesn't really scare me that much. Sure. So maybe it was a little bit of that. Yeah. And yeah, so I just never cared. And nobody gets unanimous praise, right? Nobody. Yeah. The greatest guys, they killed Jesus, right? Right. He seemed like a pretty cool guy. He was saying some cool stuff, Yeah. He had a good message. Right. That may be a controversial take, but
full of hot takes.
But I'm willing to stand. I mean, listen, I'm willing to stand on it.
Probably a good guy. Don't kill people. Stealing cars is bad. Like
listen, that's what I'm saying. I'm not afraid to say
these are wild
that people may not agree with. You know, they killed Lincoln. He did some good stuff, saved the Union.
Yep.
It'd be two countries if it wasn't for him. You know, and
yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, Martin Luther King. You know, they nobody gets unanimous praise, right? So I kind of just knew that.
Yeah,
and one of my mentors, a dude named Elliot Holtz, he was a guy who like a big brother to me. Okay. He was one of the first fitness YouTubers to get 1 million subscribers.
Okay. Nice.
And he told me the more controversial you are, I mean, the more, not controversial, but what did he say? The more polarizing you are, the better. And he's a big fan of Dan Kennedy, you know? Oh, yeah. So he learned that from Dan, and I learned that from him. And I was like, all right, it just gave me permission to just say what I'm thinking.
Well, especially when it comes to your personal brand, man, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there that teach keto. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people out there that teach fitness. There's a lot of people out there that teach nutrition. Mm-hmm. But the thing that's going to make somebody follow you instead of somebody else is not the fact that you're telling them something about keto. It's the fact that you're expressing some sort of personal opinion about a belief that you hold that they also might hold. Yeah, and that is going to attract them to your personality and your brand as a human being, not just the information that you're giving. And that's the piece that a lot of these brands are missing, is that they're never willing to say those things because I don't want to, irritate anybody. I don't want to piss anybody off. I don't want to be that guy or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, then you're just another dude. Yeah. You're just another, you're another chick online spewing information. Yeah. And there's no lack of that. There's so many people that have the same information. It's the same thing. Yeah. There's only so many ways you can talk about real estate investing before everybody talks about real estate investing. Yeah, everything's so the thing that's going to attract people to you as a real estate investor in your brand is the things that make you beyond real estate investing. You know what I'm saying?
Your personality and your perspective, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and your pedigree, right? Because I had been a trainer for 10 years.
Right.
Before I was famous for being a trainer.
Sure.
Right. So like I was actually good at it, and I was in better shape than the average guy. Right. So like there was a reason they believe me. So a lot of people, they tell me they want to be famous online. How do I get more followers? I'm thinking like, well, why should people follow you?
Sure.
Can you answer that?
That's a really great question.
Do you have like the pedigree? Like, have you done anything? Right. Because right now I teach people how to build their online fitness business, right? My company's called High Ticket Trainer, and we teach people. We're really good at it, but why should you listen to me? If someone had, I did it. I built a 7-figure online fitness business, but not only that, I helped other people do it. Like once my business started really taking off, I would meet these other influencers who were like younger than me, and I realized that they didn't really know business, and maybe an advantage I had was going to college. Like I know it's very popular to hate on college, but I don't know. I thought it was a great experience.
Still very helpful.
Yeah, I thought it was super.
It's not all bad.
I think most of those guys go to like shitty colleges or they were dorks, right? Sure. So they didn't.
Well, going to a real college and going to like University of Phoenix online is like a little bit different.
My college was awesome. Yeah. like if you're a 17-year-old kid right now, thinking if you go to college, highly recommend Howard University. There was 12 girls to every guy.
That's pretty good ratio.
And that's not even counting. But if you count the fat guys and the homosexuals, then it's like now like you're really the odds are super skewed in your favor. And that leaves a lot of opportunity for unique experiences.
Sure. And unique experiences without the immediate like regret and long-term consequences.
I needed that because I was 17-year-old when I went to college, right? I was 17, so I wasn't ready to go out and be a man.
Yeah, right.
To go out and be a man at that part of my life. So it was cool. I was able to learn a lot and make a lot of mistakes in a controlled environment where but it was the early 2000s, right? So maybe things are different right now. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm an advocate for education. Yeah. Another hot take. I think education is a good thing.
It's the most wisdom that's ever been dropped on an episode of the show.
So, but it really helped me. And one of the things I learned in college, I had classes taught by like Larry Ellison.
Oh, wow.
The CEO of Verizon taught one of my classes.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison would come, but
it's pretty valuable.
Yeah. And one thing I did learn in college from a marketing perspective, to your earlier point, is really figure out who your market is and only talk to them, right? Like Tampax, they don't care what we think, right? They're only talking to women. They actually don't care what we think. And I kind of just took that as like, who's my person?
Well, I think we all just learned a major lesson in that with Bud Light.
Yeah.
You know, like a very public lesson in speaking to your target market. Like, did they do something inherently and intrinsically wrong? No, absolutely not. You know, it was probably not even something that they thought about that much. It was just like, oh, let's do this thing for this person. And then they did it. Yeah. And then it was like, they violated every rule of marketing in doing so.
Yeah.
And did not think about their target audience or target market one bit.
I hope people got fired because that was like a marketing.
They've lost billions, billions with a B. They've lost in real revenue.
They should,
because they again, like, do whatever you want. I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
I don't like, it doesn't bother me at all. But I'm also not Bud Light's target market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, me neither.
If I don't were Bud Light's target market, maybe I would have given a shit about that, just like they all did, and boycotted they learned a very, very hard lesson. And I hope a lot of other companies took that lesson to heart. Yeah. Which is just like, if you're in that world, then maybe do those things. If that's your target market, then do that thing. Yeah. If it's not, stay engaged in what you're a company. Yeah. It's your job as a marketer to make more, like, bring in more customers, increase brand value, and overall increase market cap. Yeah. And revenue, right? So like, you violated the first rule of marketing in doing so. And now you're having to deal with the consequences.
It's super irresponsible, right? Because there's so many people whose livelihoods depend on them.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about the from the people, all the people work there, down to the janitors. Right. You know, like your decisions. That when I think about it, I have like 36 employees, so I think about that all the time. My decisions impact those people, their lives, their children's lives. Right. You got to think about this stuff. It's irresponsible to not focus on your target market, man. Like, they used to do it great in the 90s. I went to college. Initially, I wanted to make beer commercials. Yeah. That's why I went, because in the 90s, beer commercials were fun, and they spoke right to the target market.
Because I grew up super Baptist, so very, very sheltered, and all alcohol was bad. Yeah. I still even remember at that point, like, I knew in my mind that, like, those were bad commercials, and like a lot of times would have to change the channel, like during beer commercials. But I would, if my parents weren't there, I would leave it on because they were always funny. Yeah. I always liked them, and it made me want to drink. Like, they made the beer look so good. Yeah,
hot girls, guys, people having fun. Right, like, exactly. They spoke to their target market, and you get away from that. You know, your revenues is going to be reflected in your revenue.
Well, look, man, this has been a lot of fun. I know we're winding down here. Last quick question for you. It's one that I really like to ask every once in a while because it finds that we get some interesting answers for it. If you could have one video that you knew for sure would go so viral that everybody in the world would see it, what would the message of that video be?
I think the message, the message would be that, people always say, especially to me, I've been hearing this a lot since I just work really hard, and they say, you got to enjoy life. You got to enjoy life, man. You got to work hard. Right. But recreation is not the only way to enjoy life. Hedonism is not the only way to enjoy life. I think if you can change your perspective and start to enjoy pushing yourself, right? Seeing what you're made of, taking advantage of the opportunities we have here, especially if you live in a first world country. If you live in America, like, there's people who are literally risking their lives today to get here, right? Because we have so many opportunities, and really seeing what you can accomplish. The average person has so much potential that they just leave on the table. Yeah. But it's going to take like work to unleash that, bring it to the surface, And if you can find joy in that, trying to see how much of your potential you can bring to the table, then you can have joy every day, right? Because what these people don't understand is, I just want to enjoy life, man. You got to enjoy. I hear it all the time. It's like, what you're just talking about hedonism, right? Right. That's really what you're talking about.
The goal is not to not work. Yeah. Yeah. The goal is to find work
that you
enjoy enough to go through the sucky parts of working.
Yeah. Or like change your associations with pain and pleasure. Like, start to enjoy pushing yourself, seeing what you're made of. Because if you can do that, then you can enjoy life every day. But if enjoying life is just hedonism, then you can only do that sporadically, right? You can't go on vacation every day. Yep. You can't get high every day. You can't get drunk every day. You can't go to parties every day, right? So you only have pockets of joy. What they don't understand is once you change this mindset, you can enjoy life every day, right? If I take a vacation, it's mostly obligatory, like family obligations or something, or do something with my son, which is cool. Take him to a park or something, which is cool. I do these things, but it's not like I can't wait to the next vacation. Yeah, no, it's like really I just want to see what I'm made of, man. I really want to push myself to the limits and see how much I can accomplish, how much of my potential I can bring to the surface. And if you can start identifying with that, life actually becomes more enjoyable. Everybody's been kind of fed this lie that the way to enjoy life or it's just recreation, but it's like it's also selfish, right? Because recreation only helps you, right? Hedonism is only for you, right? But if you're pushing yourself, if you're building business or even working hard at a business, what things you're doing, you're making money, right? To make money, you have to provide a product or service is valuable. Right. People give you money. You can't make it. People have to give it to you, right? So you're helping people with that service, but also like either your company or the company you work at, you're helping all the people who work there. You know what I'm saying? You're helping them make money to help their families and provide better futures for their kids, and you're doing a lot of good. So I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Dude, well, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Thanks for making time. I know you're out here just for a day or two doing this conference thing, so I appreciate you stopping by. Everybody, if you're not following Brandon on social, you're one of the few who isn't.
You're tripping.
Go over to at King Keto over on Instagram. Follow Brandon over there. See some of the stuff that he's got going on. I promise you will always leave inspired, and sometimes with a smile on your face. Something funny that he shares is always good stuff, dude. So I appreciate you.
Or search me on Instagram. Search me on YouTube, Brandon Carter. It's the one with 1 million subscribers.
There you go. Yeah, just
you'll know when you see it.
Yeah. All right, dude. Thanks for coming on, man. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.